All right. Well, that's not how we all saw that one going. That's a tough one to take. Got a chance to win the series tomorrow. We'll get to all that. That is a very tough one to take. Welcome in. Y'all hit the like. Y'all share it out. Let's go through this. Man, it felt like they had that one in the bag for the majority of the game, really until the 8th inning. And there's a lot of things that led to it. LSU was in firm control of this until they absolutely just weren't. And once this game went into extra innings, the vibe just absolutely changed, and the advantage flipped to Florida. I mean, LSU went all in as they should. I mean, they went all in as they should to win tonight. And I mean, you threw Ack, you threw Guidry. Like, that was absolutely the right thing to do. But that's also why when this game went to extra innings, the advantage felt like it flipped to Florida. Not felt like, the advantage flipped to Florida because they were able to bring in Brandon Neely. They were able to, use Ryan Slater again out of the bullpen, and that ultimately was going to be really tough for LSU. We could go through the entire game. Let's start. I mean, look, let's start later though, and we'll circle back around to the front. LSU had chances late to add to the total. I mean, you had 11 hits, you had 4 runs. We talk so much about having pressure and constant pressure throughout the lineup, and you had a really good shot at that tonight with the 11 hits, but you could just never manufacture enough and push the runs across and extend the lead. I don't want to say you let a team hang around because, I mean, you're doing well on the mound, and we'll get to Gage Jump. It was a great bounce back for him, but I mean, you get, Florida starts chipping away a little bit. You get to the 8th inning, and Guidry, you have first and third, and nobody out, and you go to Ack, and Ack comes in, strikes out the first guy, gets the lazy fly ball, gets the strikeout, and you have the drop third strike. And it was a really tough pitch to block up. I understand that fully. It's a block that we've seen Milazzo make. We saw him make it in the game. He just didn't make it right there. And that set the entire chain reaction in motion. I mean, that's what did it. That pushed a run across when you were out of the inning. It got another hitter to the plate, so you had to get 4 outs, and in getting another hitter to the plate, that's why Florida was able to flip the lineup, or I should say, be in position to flip the lineup in the 9th inning. If you get that third strike and you end it when you should have, that 8th inning, I mean, you stop them at 7, 8, and 9 due up instead of 8, 9, 1. I mean, that put them in that position, and that made it tough. Huge for him to get out of it there, obviously, and keep it at 4-3. That was massive. But then Florida throws a pinch hitter up there in the 9th inning. Again, you can't push across anything in the 8th. A pinch hitter starts the 9th for Florida, who hadn't had a hit all year. He had a 0 average, and you walk him. And you cannot do that. You cannot walk the leadoff hitter in the 9th inning in a 1-run ball game. That is a cardinal sin, and it's unfortunate that happened. Still, Nate battles, gets the 9-hole guy. Colby Shelton comes up. That's a huge out that he got there. And Ty Evans. I mean, Ty Evans gets the hit and drives the run in, and you're tied. Florida goes to Neely. He retires you easy in the 9th inning, as he should. Reigning National Pitcher of the Week. We talked about that. He's really, really good, y'all. And he's got one bad outing on the year that elevated that ERA. Every time else, he's been nailed. He is their ace out of the pen, and he was that tonight. The interesting thing was, and this was a really curious move by Kevin O'Sullivan, was he took his DH out and put him at catcher, which forced Neely into the lineup. And I loved the move by Jay Johnson in the 10th inning to walk the bases loaded. Now, granted, if it wouldn't have worked, fine, and it ultimately did, and we'll get to why. But he forced O'Sullivan's hand right there. Are you gonna let him hit, or are you gonna take him out? And ultimately, they took him out. They were able to go to Ryan Slater. But before that, the job Nate Ackenhausen did to get out of that bases-loaded jam in the 10th inning and preserve the tied game was incredible. The play by Stephen Milam to stick with that grounder after a bobble, that was incredible and needed. And, I mean, you get that, you go to a kid hitting 083, you get the punch out, and you're back in the dugout. Again, they go to Ryan Slater. It it was such a much different situation for him to come into the ball game tonight than it was yesterday. I mean, he came into the game yesterday, bases loaded, nobody out. He comes into this one fresh, clean start, can work at his pace, and his pace is very quick. He had all his pitches working, which was massive. That slider, was able to land it for a strike tonight. It was really filthy, and he tied you up for 2 innings. You really didn't put any forth resistance for him. I mean, Tommy, legs it out there. Legs out the fielder's choice in the bottom half. And, I mean, I say this with all due respect. There was no chance that Jared Jones was going to be able to compose himself. He was swinging for the fence, so it was like, all right, big boy, just go up there and try to hit a ball over the fence and tie the game up. And, unfortunately, he couldn't get it done. So you dropped that one. Before we get to tomorrow, a few things, and y'all do me a solid and smash the like, please. That'd be greatly appreciated. And share it out if you can. Let's talk about Gage Jump real quick. I thought Gage Jump was fantastic. I mean, that 4th inning got really hairy on him where he walks the bases loaded, and he did great to get a ground ball double play. Sucks you gave up the hit right after that, but, man, that could have been so much worse, especially considering where you were in the lineup. So he really bared down. And then for him to come back in the 5th and have the bounce back that he did, it couldn't have really been any better. He got 1, 2, 3 in the lineup, strikeout, ground out to third base. That was awesome. So, I mean, he's going through at that. Oh, they took the lineup down. It was that would have been Shelton, Evans, and Caglione. And for him to go KK, ground out the third, that is massive. So the bounce back from Jump's everything you wanted it to be. He got up to 104 pitches tonight. That's great to see. It's a shame he gets the no decision because he pitched really, really well. And that's a great sign going forward. So that's something you can take forward tomorrow and be like, okay, check. You had another starter bounce back. I thought Gavin Guidry was great out of the bullpen. The thing I will say, I will also, yes, you wanted LSU to be able to extend the lead a little bit. They couldn't do it. They couldn't manufacture the runs. And yes, that's disappointing. But I will also tip my hat to Luke McNeely from Florida. That's something else we talked about, y'all. He had started to turn the corner. Those last 2 outings for him were shutout and dominant baseball. And that was a big key for their bullpen, was him starting to pitch better. And you saw it tonight. They were able to hold LSU's lineup at bay. Would you have liked LSU to get more off of Liam Peterson? Absolutely. But I'm going to tip my hat to that young man, too, because this was the second largest. I don't know if they said it on TV tonight. This was the second largest paid attendance crowd in the history of this baseball program. That true freshman suited up and did really, really well. Now, he gave up the 4 runs, fine. He never let the inning get away from him. He never got into too much trouble. He pitched awesome when his team needed to, so I will tip my hat to him. It's a bummer. This was the day I thought LSU really had a shot to jump on a starter early because of all of that, and the atmosphere was what it was supposed to be for him tonight, and he handled it. So tip of the hat to him. When you look at tomorrow, this is a big one. And I will say this. It's a big one for a couple reasons. Number one, you don't want to lose 2 series in a row to start SEC. That goes without saying. But in that same vein, LSU has played so much better this weekend that it wouldn't feel the same if you did lose. It would just magnify the Mississippi State one more. But we're not going to think about that. We're going to talk about how LSU can win the series tomorrow, because they can. Thatcher Hurd has got to follow in Luke Holman and Gage Jump's footsteps and have a really solid bounce-back start. And I think he's more than capable of doing that. I really do. I think he is more than capable of doing that. Those 2 guys have fixed everything that ailed them. And if you really think about it, Thatcher Hurd's the only starter for LSU last weekend that at some point settled in. I know it ended poorly, but at some point he settled in. So do you see more of it that way? We talked in the preview. You need to see College World Series, Thatcher Hurd show up tomorrow and really shove for LSU. When you look at what they have left in the bullpen, you still got guys. I mean, you got Ulloa. He hadn't pitched. Cade Anderson hasn't pitched. You maybe could bring back Gavin Guidry. I don't have a box score in front of me. Forgive me. So I don't know. I'm being yelled at by security because apparently I'm not walking fast enough. I don't know how many pitches Guidry threw tonight, so I'm not totally positive on what he has, on how much you could bring him back, but you definitely could. I'm on my way, man. I'm on my way right now. Oh, you want me to run? Damn. So I don't know how many he, potentially has to come back, but I think that's definitely a possibility that you could bring Gavin Guidry back. And if you do, hopefully he's solid. He was really good tonight. Florida's got a lot left. I mean, they could bring Neely back. They could bring a lot back. You just have to wait and see really what's going to go. But first and foremost, you got to have a big start from Thatcher Hurd, and he's more than capable. You saw it in Omaha last year. That's obviously what you need to see again. All right, y'all smash a like on the way out. We're going to wrap this up, and we'll see about tomorrow alive. We're definitely going to obviously have, definitely obviously going to have the weekend preview, but it'll be a good one tomorrow. That's going to be a really good game tomorrow between these two clubs. That is you saw good baseball. You saw really good baseball tonight. It just didn't go the Tigers' way. So, best thing about it, you get to do it again tomorrow. And we'll have you covered wall to wall. Appreciate everybody. Y'all smash the like on the way out. It's been Moose at the Box, and we'll be back again next time.